With service second to none, Deary Brothers Lincoln of Iowa City has been earning the business of customers in Johnson County and the surrounding area since 2010. Deary Brothers Lincoln is a full-service dealership offering new Lincoln custom orders with a dedicated sales, service, and parts department. They are proud to be here for you. As a happy customer, the entire Deary staff was unbelievable to work with. They found the vehicles our family was looking for, and we will definitely be doing business with them in the future. Check out Deary Brothers Lincoln on Facebook and follow them on Twitter at Deary Bros. Hello, and welcome to the Leave Your Legacy podcast, the podcast series where we will discuss how each and every one of us impact the world around us. I'm your host, Kenyon Murray, and on today's episode, we have the one, the only, Kris Murray. How you doing, Kris?
I'm doing good. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, obviously, Kris is my kid, and I'm sporting some new merch, new shirts that are coming out. Nobody has access to them yet. So
I just got mine in the mail the other day.
Did you? Did you? Yeah, I like it. I think it's pretty cool what Connor's done with this new logo. But yeah, I think for you, obviously, people have known you for a long time because of your last name. They know you now because you're a Hawkeye. But I think a lot of people want to know, what is it like growing up with an identical twin brother? What's the best thing about having a twin brother growing up?
Keegan, he's a different kid. He's not so you think of twins as being super close knit, inseparable. Me and Keegan, we were kind of like that, but Keegan liked his own space. I liked my own space, and he was a pretty quiet kid. He's an introvert.
Yeah.
So, it was definitely fun being a twin, just because you have a built-in best friend with him. But now, people always ask me, since we were separated, how that's been going. And I just think for us, it's been pretty easy.
Yeah.
Transition. We could talk to each other once a week, maybe twice a week for 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things with especially with your mom. She can't go, her conversations have to be 30 minutes longer or FaceTime and stuff like that.
Yeah, you guys probably had a hard time with us separating than we did.
Yeah, I did. I had a moment when I was I guess it was, I don't know what it was, this summer, and I was just they're not gonna be on the same bench. That's the first time you guys haven't played together. And then but yeah, I think it probably was harder for Mom and I, not because of the distance and the logistics of things. It was more just because we're so, obviously you guys have been together since day one. But I think it's great because I think you guys are ready for that time to be apart. And
we're getting sick of each other because he's literally he's like an old lady almost. He just stays in his room. If I do something wrong in the apartment, he's just bashing me.
Yeah.
If the garbage gets even close to almost full, he'll yell at me for not taking it out.
Yeah.
Not sweeping, not vacuuming. It's ridiculous. I don't know.
What's funny about that is though he's always leaving his underwear and socks around the house.
Yeah.
When he's at home. So it's he's not cleaning like that at home.
There'll be literally just a trail of his clothes going into the house.
Yeah, for sure. So, what's the worst thing? I think I know as a dad and as your coach, I have my own ideas of what's the worst part of having identical twins. And I think it's different, but what would you say is the one thing being an identical twin that you're just man, I'm tired of hearing that, or I'm tired of people saying this, or what? I think a lot of people would like to know, there's got to be a downside to being an identical twin.
Oh, probably now is the worst time because I wouldn't say it's the worst, but I live in Iowa City. Keegan lives in California. Keegan played here last year. He got drafted. Everyone knows he got drafted. I still get called Keegan in Iowa City. It's
that's crazy. That's crazy.
It's terrible. And New York after the draft, me and Sophie stayed the extra couple of days.
Yeah.
People just constantly just call me Keegan or ask me what I was doing here. And
yeah. Yeah, I know. Sometimes you wonder. Yeah. People put your smart cap on.
Yeah, I know.
I think for me, I think one of the things that was great about the two of you is you already mentioned it. You guys are so different, and that difference is not only your personalities, but it's how you play. Right. And so I think having coached you guys and then going through the recruiting process, that was the toughest thing is I was always saying they're different kids, and just people don't understand that because it's always the Murray twins, It's funny now because I say, if someone asks, I'm like, yeah, Kris and Keegan. You know, I think people are expecting me to say Keegan, Kris, right? It's like, no, like it's always been Kris and Keegan. Like that's it. Yeah, always been. So, you know, and you're the big brother. Like that's the thing. You're the older brother.
Yeah.
And so I think that blows people's minds as well. It's like, okay, but no, I think, you know, for me, it was just always making sure that people saw you guys as individuals and not as, you know, you're always a package deal. So that was the one thing that was always tough for me. So I tell people you guys fell in love with the game of basketball. Like you love the process, you like being in the gym. So when did you feel like, okay, like this is what I want to do, like when I grow up, or I want to go to college and play? Like when was that time, and what made you feel that way?
I mean, we played a lot of sports like when we were younger. We played like football, baseball, basketball. We played golf every so often, and just things like that. So I think once we started focusing on basketball and kind of took like baseball, like we were done with, we focused on basketball like in the spring and summer, like basically year round. Mm-hmm. So I think that's when I fell in love with it, and just kind of the process of being as small as I was and then growing. Like that was kind of another thing that I got to work on, was how I can change my game into like my body and how I'm growing, and because it definitely takes it to another level. Yeah. So I think doing that did like help me fall in love with the game, but also it wasn't just like being obsessed with basketball. Like I kind of have other hobbies that I do to take my mind away from basketball, so I don't get like bored with it or anything. So like I golf, I fish a little bit, I have a dog, and I like to travel a little bit, just do things that just keep my mind off of basketball. Yeah. In the off periods sometimes, because when like during the season it's a grind, and if you become obsessed with it, like for some people, it can ruin your love for the game. So I think that is one of the biggest things that I've done, is just to keep it growing. Absolutely. I actually had a friend ask, what was the secret to having your kids fall in love with the game? And I told him it was balance. You know, it was the balance, just like you described, the balance of your life. And I think the best thing about you guys too is you really bought into the idea of let's get in and get work done. Like you guys weren't in the gym for 2-3 hours. Like you come in for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and really got a lot of work in, and then you went off and did anything else. I think people feel like I probably pressured you guys in the plan, but a lot of times it was you guys saying, Dad, can we go to the gym? Especially like after a baseball tournament or something like that. So you guys kind of drove me to be better and develop myself as a coach to make sure I was helping you guys. Yeah, because a lot of times last year it was just Keegan and I in the gym. Yeah, like that's where we felt like we got the best results. It was just like us two going at it. Yeah, so. Yeah, because you just had a different mindset. Like you have different goals, and it's not deterrent from anybody else. But with you too, you always got in, and things got competitive. And I think if I ask you who won, you'll say you won most of the games. Keegan knows who won. When we play one-on-one, Keegan knows who won. Yeah, he'll never admit it. No, never admit it. Yeah. Well, I think that really leads into, the decision that we made as a family. I know it wasn't a popular one at the time, but the decision to go to DME, like, I think you've said it is like that was a game changer for you when it came to your development above the shoulders, physically and on the court. What do you think was the most important? Let me put it this way. What thing at DME that you felt helped you develop the most? Like, what was that one thing, like, DME, like this is the thing where DME made it click for me, and I took the most out of that? Like, was there one thing or one person, or what was it that you felt was the most important thing at DME? I think we had a really good coaching staff that surrounded us, and people from all walks of life, different countries, people who could pour a lot of knowledge into you, and in different areas of your game. Yeah. And I felt like that was a big part of it. And then also like we had unlimited gym access. Yeah. So, and we didn't do school at all. Like me Keegan and I, when we were there. So, we had that, and we practiced we lift at like 9 in the morning, I think. And then practice for like 2.5 hours after that. And then we'd have a skill session in the afternoon. Then we'd have time at night to come back into the gym. So we'd be in there 4 times a day. And Keegan and I would go in on weekends too to work out. So I think that was the biggest thing. It's just that we were in the gym all the time, and like you have no option but to get better unless you just like absolutely slack off and just don't put in any work. Like, and that's the case for some people that were there, but I think that was the biggest thing that helped us.
Yeah. It wasn't a popular decision. We talked about it. Like, it was like, how'd you guys learn about DME? And it's a different story. People have asked about prep school, and I've talked about how your path isn't going to be the path of everybody. And it wasn't one that you were on board with at first. Like, well, how did you feel when I was like, hey, we're going to go visit this prep school, and then coming back from it, like, you guys are going to this prep school? Like, what was going through your mind when I brought that up?
I don't know. I'm like, well, when I first thought, when you guys told me, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to Florida. So like, let's just let him dream about it. Like, whatever. Like, it's just another one of Dad's like things that he wants us to do. So Keegan, I don't think Keegan and I really took it that serious. But then like after we visited there, it kind of just got split between like going JUCO or going to DME. And like we literally made a pros and cons list, and then we didn't have any option but to go to DME. Just for the sake of our like careers and what we wanted to do. So
I remember. I think I said too, like, maybe it was after you guys were already there, but I was thinking like, if I had to, like, this is the only time I'm gonna say you have to do something. Like, that you have no other way to go. But talk about too, your mom was able to go with you, and though it was tough for us, splitting up at that time, 2 households and things like that. And obviously you guys being close to Demetrius and McKenna and kind of being away, tell our listeners and our viewers, like, what did it mean to have your mom down there with you going through that process at DME?
Yeah, it was definitely tough for our family. And then like, it was definitely like not a risk, but like something that we had to do, I feel like. And we're fortunate enough to do that, have my mom come down with us. So, I mean, she really just helped us especially with like eating right. And we had chicken and rice probably five of the 7 days a week. Like, I don't even know if I could eat chicken and rice again, but it's gross. But just pour some sweet and sour sauce and barbecue on it. We're good. But no, she helped a lot just from that. Cause I went from like 185 to, I think I was like 205 when I left there. Yeah. So, I mean, that coupled with that and being in the gym all the time, was really good. And I mean, she enjoyed it as well, just because she was right next to the beach. It was like a 5-10 minute drive from the beach. I mean, she did her walks every morning, every night, and she enjoyed it too. Yeah,
no, it was. And, I'd be remiss too, because while you were down there, your girlfriend is a soccer player at Northern Iowa. Like, was it tough being a part? Because I know she came down a few times. I can't remember exactly how many times.
It was like November and January.
Yeah. But I think, you and her have a relationship that I really like, because you helped her through her freshman year. And then obviously she's there to support you too. So, and what is it, 4.5 years now?
Yeah. So
you're just married. You might as well you're already married.
Yeah, no, she came down, like, it was good because we were there from like end of August to March. It's like when COVID cut it off. So she came November, which was like 2 months, and then January, which was like 2 months away from when we were going to be done. So it was like pretty good timing, and we made it work. Yeah. Like it wasn't as hard as a lot of people say, but I mean, she's really good, and she helped me a lot through it. So I helped her. So
absolutely. No, I mean, we as parents, we couldn't be happier with your person is what your mom calls it. She's your person. So, okay. So legacy, like, that's the podcast. We talk about, I think there's different definitions. People have different definitions of legacy. In your case, you're a legacy recruit to the University of Iowa, which, for those that don't know, a legacy recruit is, their father or family member played before them, and now they're playing. So did you feel there was pressure coming in as a legacy recruit being my kid at all? Or did you even think about it?
I didn't really feel pressure. Yeah. It was just more like I was happy to be here. But like everyone, like all like reporters and people would ask me, like, do you feel any pressure like being a legacy recruit? I'm like, no, like, you're just trying to make me feel pressure, but like, it's not going to happen. Yeah. But I mean, there's no pressure really in that case. There can be, just because like if you're like very competitive and you want to like reach the accolades that your dad or mom did, but I don't think Keegan and I both had any pressure.
Yeah, no, you're both better than me. So
I mean, yeah, because I fit your career high twice, and Keegan averaged your career high. So I think we're that's true. I think you're the third tier right now.
Yeah, probably. You know, yeah, you're absolutely right. So, and I'm willing to admit that too. But speaking of your brother, like, you know, same thing. Where are you right now when it comes to, you know, the questions are going to come. Your first media day, you know what they're going to be asking you about. So do you feel that there's pressure coming after what your brother did last year?
No, not really. Because, like, we're two different players.
Yep.
It's like Keegan's more of a scorer's mentality. I mean, he'd look me off countless times. Like, we probably could have averaged almost the same if he didn't look me off or pass to me. He could have averaged like 5-6 assists a game. Yeah. But no, we're different players. I'm probably not going to average as much as he did. Yeah. Because we have a more balanced team this year. I feel like we got a lot of guys who can score the ball. Yeah. Who can help in different ways. And my biggest thing is that I'm more of a facilitator than he is. Yeah. So, like, I'll be looking to find guys a lot more. So I will still be aggressive on offense, but I like to make my teammates happy. Yeah. Give them the ball where they need to be. So we have a really balanced team this year. I think it'll show. Yeah,
that's why I tell people, like, you've always been a better passer and facilitator. I mean, always. If we were struggling at the guard spot, I knew I could put the ball in your hands and you could run our team. Couldn't really do that with Keegan. Because everything if he was shooting the ball well, he had a great game or a great tournament. But if he wasn't, it would go the other way. But that brings me to the story. So you know what story I'm going to talk about?
Yeah, Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. We're playing in the school tournament. I think it was eighth grade, maybe. We're playing with the Prairie team.
Like 7th or 8th grade, I think.
7th, 8th grade. We playing a team, and I think they were the defending champions. And Keegan comes down, shoots a 3, tries to draw a foul.
Yeah, doesn't get like a close game too. Like,
yeah, I think we were up like 1 point or something like that. And he tries to draw a foul, doesn't draw it, and then he's pouting, or like, he's pouting on that end of the floor because he didn't get the call. His guy comes down and scores. And literally, I remember telling Steve Young, not Steve Young, it was
Tim.
Tim Kilpatrick, telling Tim, "Hey, you got the team." And I literally grabbed your brother by the jersey and walked him out of the gym. And then your mom was following us. And then after that, we ended up losing that game by like 1 or 2 points.
No, it was like more. It was a couple possessions, I think.
Okay, but anyways, we had a vote because it was your team, and we had 10 guys on the team. Yeah. This is so funny, and I was like, okay, it's your team. You guys are vote if you want Keegan to play.
Because you made us all – no.
I made him turn around.
Keegan turned his back to us, and then we're all like in a line.
So 8 hands go up, and the only hand that doesn't go up is –
mine. He didn't deserve to play.
Absolutely, and I think you were mad at me because you're like, he shouldn't get to play.
Well, I was mad because we were playing like the – Timberwolves like practice gym. Yeah. And if we would have won that game, we would have played in the Target Center. Yeah. So like, I was mad.
Absolutely. But it's so funny. But I say this to say that he has come a long way with his mentality and things like that. But even in that moment, it's like you were going to hold him accountable. And I think that's one of the things that's made you both as good as you are, is like you alluded to earlier. You have a built-in best friend, but you have a built-in practice partner too, and a guy that is always going to challenge you and push you. So I think you guys have been really good for each other. And I think that's why I know that you're going to have a great year. He's going to have a great year because you guys have prepared for this moment to do it. So
he's something. Because like, I remember it was the Big Ten championship game. Yeah. Have I told you the story?
No.
When we were yelling at each other.
No, you didn't tell me about that. So no, you got to tell that one.
It was the Big Ten championship game. We're playing Purdue. Yeah. And he gets like a rebound or something. I like take off on the fast break, and like Jaden Ivey's behind me, and Isaiah Thompson's like in the corner about to like come intercept the pass. And Keegan throws the pass, like leads me right into Isaiah Thompson. Yeah. And I run over him, get an offensive foul, and Keegan, I don't know why, comes over to me, starts screaming at me to catch the ball. I'm like, Keegan, there's no way. Yeah. Either I'm going to get blocked or I'm going to take this charge. Like, don't throw the ball. Yeah. Yeah. And it was on CBS because I got a text about it afterwards. It's like someone texted me and said like they saw me and Keegan like yelling at each other, like going into the break.
Yeah. Did you see? There was one time you guys were yelling at each other. We were at Carver. And I don't know if you heard it or not. It was like, it was kind of quiet.
Oh, that was against UMKC.
Yeah.
Because I had the flu that game.
Yeah. And he's yelling at you and you're yelling at him and your mom stands up and goes, "You two stop fighting." It's like, and it was so funny because some of the fans heard it and looked back and we're like, yeah. I was like, yep, that's mom. She does not want them fighting on the floor.
That's just how they talk to each other.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh gosh, man. People just don't know how funny you two are because I know you're so good in public. You do such a great job because when you guys committed to Iowa, I told you to get ready for all the notoriety and just people coming around you. And I think you guys have done a good job with embracing people. Like, does it get tedious? You know what I mean? Because you get stopped all the time for pictures and things like that. Like, what do you think about that when, you know, everybody and anybody wants to come up to you, get an autograph, have you sign their shoes or whatever? You know, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, like nowadays, like, usually I'll like have like a Sharpie in my pocket or something.
Yeah.
Like just in case someone wants me to sign something. But I mean, it's definitely, I cherish it a lot just because if I was like, I'll always take a picture of someone or sign something if someone wants me to, just because like if I was like a kid or someone that had a role model, like, which is me in some cases, like I have to see myself as a role model.
Right.
So I just think about like your first impressions of them. So like, I'll always take a picture.
Yeah.
Just because it might make their day, might make them smile or something like that. So
yeah. No, I love it because we were just in Des Moines for we're at Jay's CD and Hobby, and you had a signing event there, and Joe Knapp, who helped organized it, you text me, was like, "Hey, I want to send some shoes to his kid," and I thought that was pretty cool. Like, was that something that, you know, they asked for, or was that something you just like, yo, you know, I want to hook them up?
Yeah, well, it was like the pictures he had me sign had those shoes on it. He's like, "Oh, those are cool shoes. Like, where'd you get them from or whatever?" Yeah. And I said, I saw them in my locker room, like, if you want them or anything. So yeah, just decided I'm not going to wear them anymore. Like, those are the shoes that I wore like all last year, like in my big games and stuff. So yeah. I mean, I got tons of shoes. And,
no doubt.
Make his day, make his son's day just to have them. So
yeah, no, I think that's pretty cool. And his son's a lefty too, so he really took to you on that part too. So, and have you got the videos from him?
I got one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. His dad's been sending me videos too. You know, I think, you know, your story is just being written, right? Like, I think this is a year where people are really going to get to know Kris Murray as a basketball player. You had some great moments last year. Like you said, you scored over my career high a couple times last year. But what are you looking forward to most in this upcoming basketball season?
I think the biggest thing is just the competition that we're going to play, and because we're playing on, I'm probably the biggest of stages, playing Duke at Madison Square Garden. That's one of our big games. We got a really tough schedule, like probably the hardest since Fran's been here, and I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most is just like that step up in competition and be able to show like myself and how good our team is to the world and get that national attention because like with team success comes individual success. So by winning games, it's going to help all of us completely. Absolutely. No, I'm excited too. I think you're absolutely right. Like even last year, you know, everything was pretty much around like 3 guys. You talk as far as the scoring goes. Obviously, you came off the bench, you averaged 10. But, you know, it was primarily, you know, your brother, J-Bo, and Patrick were kind of the guys looked to. Now you got 4 guys, like Tony, Hugh, Peyton, Patrick. And Phillip's shooting it well, too.
Phillip, you know, and I think you're going to be able to create so many mismatches this upcoming season, especially if guys are playing at a high level and they're playing with confidence. So I agree with you. I think, you know, people are underselling you again as far as where you're going to end up in the conference, but I think you guys will prove a lot of people wrong. I think they're really underselling us because, I mean, we have a pretty deep team this year, and I think it's going to help us a lot. We can score the ball. Like, that's not going to be a problem at all, but we got people who are going to buy in on defense, and I think that's the biggest thing because we saw how that could help us last year. And, I mean, like Phillip's shooting it better. I mean, Connor hasn't missed since we played Penn State last year. Right. So I mean, we got guys who are playing with a lot of confidence right now. Yeah, that's awesome. So got to ask because, you know, people say, "Oh, it's great that you got to coach your kids," and now I'm coaching your sister at Prairie. What's the best and worst thing about having me as a coach?
Probably the best thing was that you're offensive minded coach.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, and you knew that Keegan and I like to play together because we have our whole lives. So, and we had a familiarity with each other, which was good. But I think probably the worst thing was that, well, for you and me, it was like we were too familiar sometimes.
Yeah.
Because like Keegan wouldn't say anything, but like I was the one that would say stuff, and we probably got into the most like arguments.
Yeah.
Through basketball.
Yeah.
So.
But I think, we had that moment when you guys were seniors, and it was the best thing for me though, as your dad, because I knew that I had a tendency to be a little bit tougher on you guys, or like your sister says too, like, why are you looking at me when somebody else made a mistake, right? Because it was one of those things, like I knew you guys could take it, and I couldn't coach everybody that way. But you really helped me that year understand, like, like I've got to be coach and I got to be dad. And there's like a break in that. But also recognizing you for what you did positive, because I probably wasn't the most positive coach, back then. When it came to you two, but I do, and I love that about you. I love the fact that you, like you said, Keegan was one of those guys that just kind of, he would never say anything to me or to your mom, but you were the one that was like, like this isn't working. Like I got to say something.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So it's good. And that's part of too, is just understanding the two of you and how you're different in that respect too. But people probably wouldn't believe that you would say anything back. But I really, honestly, for me, that was a moment where like I knew, like, okay, he's becoming a man. He's sticking up for himself. He's telling me what I need to hear. And we made that pact. As soon as we leave the gym, it's dad, So it was good. And you stuck it. That's why I think too, you're going to be really good this year, because remember your sophomore year, I was in charge of rotations at Prairie, and I didn't play you a whole lot.
I didn't play. I was like third off the bench.
Yeah. And so, but you started playing a lot late. You helped us win a lot of games towards the end of that year too. But then that junior year, like hands down, you were the best player on that team. Like it wasn't even close. Keegan will say it was close, but it wasn't.
Keegan did not play well that year.
No, you had an unbelievable junior year. And what was it about that year that kind of made a huge difference for you?
Because I got to play more. Biggest thing.
Take that.
And then I also grew too a little bit, so that helped. And I mean, I played with a lot of confidence that year.
Yeah.
Just because I knew I could play at that level.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of good games, and I don't know. I think I shot a lot better too, because I was shooting from like the volleyball line.
Yeah.
And we could always shoot, but I mean, I think I shot a little bit better than I did that year.
And you mixed your game up. Like you could get to the rim. I mean, you did like Keegan was like catch and shoot, and you were just like, I'm putting it on the deck and I'm getting where I need to go. And you had a good. I remember the one game that sticks out is that Waterloo West game.
Oh yeah,
when you were balling out, and we should have won that game, but
they had like 24 that game, and like the next highest person had like 5. Like,
it was not good.
Oh, it was bad. Because everyone got yelled at after the game, like besides me.
yeah, pretty much. It was crazy, but no. So I think fans will see an unbelievable version of you this year, and I'm excited to see it as well. So you mentioned, you're a doggy dad.
Yep.
Right.
Golden retriever named Indy.
Yeah. So what's the best part about having Indy?
I mean, Indy wasn't. I love Indy, but she wasn't my first choice, because I got a text like the middle of March from Sophie. She's like, oh, I found this dog and we're on the waiting list for it. It's 500 this month and 500 like when we get it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I guess I'm getting a dog.
Yeah.
So because I've always wanted like a Rottweiler.
Yeah.
That's been my dog of choice. But no, she's good. It's just me and her right now until Sophie comes back.
Yeah.
So she definitely keeps me on my toes, keeps me busy, gives me something to do, something to look forward to after practice. She's really good. So I just take her on walks. Like I said, she keeps me occupied. She can. We've had a couple of rough moments together, but I'd say she's good for the most part.
Yeah. Okay. So I told you I had a question for you.
Yeah.
That came from your mom. She says, "Ask Kris, who does he think Indy's favorite is?"
Indy's favorite?
Yeah.
Probably me.
Yeah.
At first, because I take care of her.
Yeah.
She likes going to mom's house a lot.
Yeah.
She likes Sophie's dad, Jason, just because he gives her crackers all the time. So she knows where to go if she wants some human food.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. No, she's awesome. Yeah, your mom wanted me to ask you that. That's pretty funny. All right, so I'm gonna go. I got some rapid fire questions for you.
All right.
Okay. So first one: if you need a sweet, something sweet, what's your go-to?
Junior Mints.
Junior Mints.
People probably don't know what that is, but it's like a chocolate candy thing with like white mint in it. It's delicious. You
remember when you spilled those in the Suburban and they melted all over the place?
I was sitting in the back seat and it was like on your neck and you're driving. I don't know how I got there.
They were everywhere and I had to lift up the seats to clean it out. Oh my gosh, you and Junior Miss, that's funny. All right, so burger, chicken, or steak?
Chicken or steak? It depends from where, but steak probably.
Okay, steak.
Those are like my three main foods that I eat. So.
Okay. Last one. You're stranded on a desert island. You get one person and one thing. What are you bringing?
One person and one thing.
Yeah. Who's the person? What are you bringing? You better get this right.
I'd probably bring Sophie for support.
Yeah.
So she might know how to build a fire.
Because you don't?
I kind of do.
Okay. You can fish though.
Yeah, you can fish. She knows how to fish too.
Okay,
so that helps.
Yeah.
Thing I would bring.
Yeah.
I don't know, like a match maybe. I don't.
Okay.
What's that? Is there a right answer?
No. Well, the person is the right answer. I'm glad you chose Sophie on that one. No, and what you bring is different because, like for me, if you ask me, I was like satellite phone. I'm calling somebody to get me off the island, dude.
Yeah,
because I can't do it.
That's probably a good one.
Yeah, so
maybe one of those like what are the guns on boats that shoot like flames?
Oh, the flare gun.
Flare gun. Yeah, I bring a flare gun.
Okay, got you. All right, yeah, because you and Sophie could fish and you get food. She can make a fire.
If I see a boat, I can shoot a flare gun.
Yeah, it's all good. Kris, really enjoy you being on the show today. But to our viewers, I want to leave you with a quote from theologian Leonard Sweet. And that quote is, what you do is your history. What you set in motion is your legacy. Once again, a big thank you to Kris for joining me today. Please go to the Talk About Network page on YouTube. Subscribe and give us a like. You can find the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Kenyon Murray. Until next time. This podcast is sponsored by Storyline Multimedia. Storyline is an Iowa City-based media company that specializes in creating high-quality video, photo, and audio productions for local businesses. Not only that, but they also produce a number of podcasts, including this one. So if you're interested in sharing the story of your business with the world, contact them today by visiting StorylineMultimedia.com. And remember, your story matters.